How's this for a shocking statistic? The VR segment of the game industry is predicted to grow from $5 billion to over $120 billion in the next 1 to 2 years. Sounds crazy? Well, according to industry analysts, it's not just predicted, it's inevitable. Curious to explore more? As a team looking to create something new and exciting for players, we certainly were. In the game industry, there are obviously no sure bets. Investing in an idea demands the idea be both sound and logical, but creative and exciting. It takes both the guts to take those creative risks, combined with an in-depth knowledge of the industry trends to be the next big thing. And even then, it's difficult to predict the next trend or area of opportunity that will both excite players and reward investors. Now, what if you took that industry forecast and added a proven game design formula, but with a unique spin that players have been demanding over and over again? A genre and design that is popular with streamers and also brings players of all platforms and types together, engaging them in the long term, but is something exciting they also haven't seen before. With our game, Desynesthesia, our team's goal is to fully explore this largely untapped, highly lucrative, and in-demand segment of the gaming market. To create something fueled by passion that players of all types simply love and enjoy. And to push creative boundaries and embrace new technologies to craft unique experiences that shake up the industry. We thank you for the opportunity to explore how, with your assistance and partnership, we plan to do just that. By utilizing the amazing advancements and accessibility of VR technology and the exciting, inspired asymmetric, multiplayer gameplay to excite players and bring them together like never before. In Desynesthesia, technology has advanced to the point where humans can travel amongst the stars without fear. Sentient AI is commonplace, and a corrupt government rules with an iron fist to keep Earth's inhabitants under complete submission. When advanced beings, known as star children, are discovered to be human-god hybrids, Earth's central government turns against them, under the guise that they are dangerous to all citizens if left to their own devices. Penelope, one of our main characters, begins to manifest star child abilities and is quickly identified by government officials when a heated argument causes her to lose control. She is taken to one of their most secure facilities, while her husband Jack, our second main character, is becoming more and more frantic the longer he is unable to reach her. When the government's attempts to harness Penelope's powers goes wrong, an earthquake shakes the entire planet. Jack is left shaken as he starts to feel empty and broken inside because he knows something awful has happened to Penelope. As Jack begins his hunt for answers, he quickly discovers the government lost control in their attempt to harness her powers, and her soul was shattered, forcing her inner being into a constant ethereal state, trapped in the space between the digital and the physical world. Players must go to great lengths, make hard decisions, and even sacrifice parts of themselves in order to bring Jack and Penelope back together and save the universe from the government's dangerous rule. They must do everything in their power to find a cure for Penelope's condition, a condition known as Desynesthesia. In this sci-fi horror adventure game, created for PC, PlayStation 5, and Xbox Series X, we've given players full control of how they want to play. Players will experience the world through the eyes of both of our two main characters, Jack and Penelope, but with a unique twist: VR-integrated, asymmetric gameplay in either single-player campaign mode or with a friend in drop-in, drop-out cooperative mode. We've also incorporated crossplay to give players the choice to play with their friends regardless of platform, letting anyone play with everyone. So how are we doing this? Well, in Desynesthesia, players are given the ability to swap between Jack and Penelope's perspectives, each player controlling a different character when playing as a team. The best experience is built around asymmetric mode. In this mode, co-op players experience Penelope's viewpoint from a first-person VR perspective, where we can deliver immersive, audio-sensory feedback, reflecting her ethereal nature. Playing as Jack, players will play on a screen or monitor from a third-person, over-the-shoulder perspective, which reflects his more natural state and makes combat more intuitive and visceral but without being disorienting. This dual character approach to the game demands different strategies for different situations. Players will quickly learn that communication is key to their success and must rely on each other, giving an increased sense of immersion and teamwork. They will need to utilize Jack's physical abilities and combat skills in tandem with Penelope's ethereal powers, as the enemies and monsters players will face come in a large and diverse variety. Some can only be seen by Penelope due to her unique Star Child powers, but can only be defeated by physical attacks from Jack. In turn, Jack will have to rely on Penelope to relay information and clues and to help mark targets he cannot see, as Penelope's Desynesthesia has left her mostly unable to interact with the physical realm. Players will have to work together as terrifying monsters lay in wait around every corner.
Jesus Christ! I think I broke the controller cable.
By implementing VR and asymmetric cooperative modes into the horror genre, we plan on delivering terror in a far more visceral and personal manner, to deliver in-your-face scares and toy with players' real-world senses. With each player experiencing the game world in vastly different perspectives, players will need to rely on teamwork and verbal communication to communicate and relay vital information to each other. To engage players and keep them on their toes, players will be given helpful audio-visual and environmental cues in unique and immersive ways that will help them along their journey. Playing in co-op mode, these cues become even more important. Light, visual, and audio cues are essential if players wish to progress through the ever-changing hostile environments and overcome dangerous enemies. With limited resources and ammunition at the player's disposal, this approach encourages players to rely on not just their trigger fingers, but their senses as well, as they navigate through each foreign world. Using these cues and environmental features will be necessary to survive. From hiding in the shadows to avoid detection from enemies, to discovering alternate routes and different ways to bypass obstacles, players will have to make tough decisions that have consequences, and could change how they progress on their quest to restore Penelope. Decisions made by players, such as dialogue choices and how they approach certain objectives, such as being overtly aggressive or playing stealthily and avoiding detection by enemies, will affect more than just how they complete puzzles and overcome enemies. It will also change the way NPCs react and behave towards players, and even affect the way the narrative story progresses and which of the multiple endings players receive. Cooperative players will have to decide amongst themselves how they wish to make these choices, leading to interesting and ever-evolving player dynamics, and multiple playthroughs will be necessary to see how every choice will play out, which helps keep players engaged for the long term. For our game and our team, it's all about giving the player choice, and ensuring that players feel like their decisions really matter, and that the choices they make have an impact on the game world, story, and the characters. For players of Desynesthesia, it all comes down to how far you're willing to go to save the one you love before it's too late. Along with a unique take on asymmetrical multiplayer gameplay, our goal stands resolute: to use our passion for these design concepts to develop a game that unites and delights players in new and exciting ways that really make an impact on the industry that other companies will look to and wonder, why didn't we think of that?